So this week I have a good old friend Max, who for the first time that I've met over the Zoom in person, so to speak, because we tend to do Messenger over Facebook and everything else. So Max, how did your running tale begin?
Oh, um, well, I started late in life. Back in school, I did sprints, things like that. Sports-wise, hockey teams, things like that. But then I never really did very much after that. You married, had kids, did a bit of walking, nothing much. And the usual story: put on too much weight, decide to go to a slimming class to lose weight, and yeah, we started actually doing looking at the moonwalk, because obviously I'm Scotland near Edinburgh, so we thought we'll do the moonwalk. We'll do the half, the 13 miles.
What
So
year roughly was this?
that was in 2013.
Okay,
So
very
yeah, I hadn't
recent.
done anything for a lot of time. You know, I just working, bringing up the kids. I just hadn't done anything. So yeah, so my pal and I went for a 2 mile walk and had to come home and sit down and have a drink because we were exhausted.
Is that an alcoholic drink, a cup of tea,
No,
or
we
a
had a cup of
drink?
tea. I had a cup of tea. um, but yeah, so that was kind of like how we got into it. I didn't book the moonwalk at that point because I actually quite enjoyed being out. So I decided that if I could go out and do 13 miles, I would book the full, which is 26 miles. So I managed the 13 miles relatively easily. So that was 2012, I booked my first moonwalk, and it was the full 26.2 miles that I did. I carried on basically with the walking then, which I haven't really stopped. I still
What
walk
was the
and run.
What was the time difference? Because before you said you started running in 2013, and then you said you booked the walk in
Oh, sorry, yes,
2012.
when I started walking 2013, yeah. The
And
running didn't really start until 2015.
but the
Um,
moonwalk was 2012,
2013 was the
13.
2000. Sorry, I'm getting my dates mixed up. 2012 was the moonwalk, and that was my first, and I was walking. So 2015, I'd actually, well, 2013 I'd done a double moonwalk, which was 52 miles.
Should we? Sorry.
2015,
Should I start again? Because I think I confused you. Because what confused me is that you
that's all
said
right.
what I'm trying to get is, and what a lot of the podcast listeners like to listen to is when you started running to when you did your first race. And so you said, "Oh, I started in 2012, but then
Yeah.
but then I did my no 2013, but I did my moonwalk in 2012, a year before you started walking."
Yeah, I'm
So let's
confused in
start
my
again.
dates.
So you
Right.
started walking, yeah. So we'll start again. Yep, that's it. Go on then.
Right. Yeah, you can edit.
So when did your
um,
running tale begin?
I started running in 2015. Although I actually started walking distance in 2012. I started with the moonwalk. 2013, I did a double moonwalk, which is 52 miles. 2015, I booked again for another double moonwalk. And the training for that is basically 6 months. So you basically give up 6 months of your life to just constantly train. Um, when I finished it in 2015, I was actually just a bit sick of it. I'd actually sickened myself with all the walking. And about a week, 10 days after I'd done the 52 miles, I went out for a walk, and I was just so fed up of walking. I started to run. So middle of out walking about, I don't know, about half a mile in or something, I thought, I'm not doing this. I can't do this. It's boring. I'll start to run. And I'd started to run, and I did a walk run. It wasn't all running, but I did 5K, and I thought, oh, this is quite good. And it was a completely different feeling. Completely different feeling. It was just something new. So yeah, so I really enjoyed it. That's when my running started,
And then
and
where
why it
from?
started.
And where you are, is it in Edinburgh or near Edinburgh?
And just over in Fife, yes, about 12
So,
miles from Edinburgh. Yeah.
so
Mm-hmm.
you're walking, I take it, is all through the hills, and then now you're running hills as well.
Yes, yeah, it
Most
would be.
people start off flat. You're like, I'm going to start running. It's natural.
you can't get away from hills here. I mean, I do parkrun, and I think it's now it's Dunfermline Parkrun, and it's the fourth hardest in Scotland. I think it's sitting at now.
Oh,
There was
right. We're
another
going to
one
talk about parkrun later on
later.
for
Yeah,
sure.
so yes, it's full of hills. It's full of hills.
So going back to your start of your journey, you did 5 kilometers, you know, came home, had your cup of tea, and then
Mhm.
when you next got the trainers on, did you think I'm going to go running, or did you have walking boots on and had to go and buy some trainers?
No, because I do power walking, which you just wear the same trainers as running. I
Okay.
don't. I don't use boots. It is just trainers that I use. And to be honest, the speed between my walking and running isn't that much difference.
But you gave it a
But
go. You give it a go.
yeah, but I still kept, I still kept running. I enjoyed the runs, and I was determined to try and actually run a 5K, without stopping. That was my goal, was to actually run a 5K without stopping. Which, to be fair, I've only probably done about 2 or 3 times. I'm one of these old buddies that started late and just needs walk breaks. So,
No,
but
no,
yeah,
that's good.
I walk and run. I do my
Jeffing.
own thing. Yeah, do my own thing. I don't stay. I've tried the Jeffing and things like that, and I can't do that. I can't set times and whatever. I just run, and when I need to walk, I walk, and then I start running again. But
No.
no, I enjoy it. It's good. Yeah.
So when you decided, hang on, I'm going to give running, I'm going to go the next level with running, did you
Yeah.
have a friend to go with you, or was this just something you did for yourself?
No, I did it for myself. And I live in a village outside Dunfermline, which is say about 12 miles from Edinburgh. So there's 2 villages and a main road between them. And I used to just go back and forward along the main road. And that got a bit boring. So I decided that I would join Jog Scotland. And I'd found a local Jog Scotland and I joined them. And I was there for a while. I actually became a jog leader there, working in the beginners group and going out and just, again, doing the jogs. But they actually obviously work so that any level of fitness, the 3 groups, any level of fitness, and you just regroup all the time. You do your run. If you're quicker than the next person, then you just turn and come back, go to the last person. So you never lose anybody.
You
So yeah, I
regroup.
did Jog Scotland. Yeah, I did Jog Scotland probably for about a couple of years.
And then,
I
so
was
when
there
did
for
you
about
do
a
your
couple of years.
first, when did you do your first race?
2013.
Okay.
It was a rock and roll marathon. Well, it was a rock and roll half marathon in Edinburgh. It was the first sort of major race that I did, and that was good. I really enjoyed that. But
2013, hang on, that 2015 is when you started running. Got to get your dates right.
yeah, you see, because I'm different. You see, I mix walking and running, which is the difference. So my first race, yeah, it was 2013, but that was still walking. My
Okay, oh,
first race
sorry, your first
running,
running, yeah.
yeah, my first running race was my first running race probably would have been sometime during 2015, because the moonwalk's June, so I would imagine it probably would. I can't remember actually. It would have been in the summer, I think, sometime 2015.
And how did you
Um,
feel at the start line? Was you nervous, or because this was a whole new thing, running it,
yeah,
not walking it?
yeah, I know this is completely different. Um, I don't really like the start lines, so I just want to get away. But yeah, it would probably. I'm trying to think back to what race it would be. It would definitely be Arthur's Seat. Probably one of the great runs, to be honest, because they had 5 and 10Ks over there. Um, um, yeah, so probably Arthur's Seat. But my 10K probably I would think would be the one. I can remember me running down off Arthur's Seat during the 10K, which was brilliant. Um, but yeah, I'm not really nervous at the beginning of a race. I just want to get away and just get it done. And probably like a lot of runners, the first mile or that, it's like, why am I doing this? I can't be bothered doing this. This isn't, I can't, I'm just going to go home. But get a mile or 2 in and yeah, I'm fine. I'll just keep going. So
what keeps you going, and why do you do it? Why do you do the walking? Is it for charity? Is it for mental health? Is it to lose weight, like you said at the beginning, that you carry on
probably
the journey?
probably a bit of everything. Yeah, I do a lot of, I mean, even in running, but I've got two charities, Walk the Walk and also MS Societies, my two main charities that I've done work for over the years. Um, the One of the main reasons is, I don't know if you'll see that, but I've got a tattoo which
Okay,
says, you can't really see it from my angle, it says believe. Um,
that's on your
and
wrist, yeah.
it's on my wrist. One of the reasons I got it on my wrist is obviously I've known people who have cancer, MS, who are not getting better, won't get better. Um, and that keeps me going. I used to think it, but I just look at my wrist now. And that just basically tells me that I might be sore at the end. You know, I might be in pain, I might be tired or whatever. But a couple of days and you're back up and running. You know, I've got a life. So that's
Yeah.
something that keeps me going. Sad, but yeah, it's something that keeps me going. Yeah.
No, everyone's got, their reasons. So, and I'm sure many listeners, have the same as you. So,
Yeah.
what do you prefer, the running or the walking? Because I get the impression it's more the walking.
I like short distance running. I can't do long distance running. I've tried. My goal was to run a marathon. And I kept getting injured. So I had calf injuries. I can't see it. Plantar fasciitis. I've all sorts of injuries. After Jog Scotland, actually, one of my friends at work had said to me that I needed to move on from Jog Scotland. I needed something for my running. I needed something which would improve me, as opposed to just going out running on a Wednesday night. And by that time, I had become a jog leader. So I was helping the beginners. So I was never actually doing a run for myself. I was doing a run for other people. So my pal had said, you need to join a running club to improve your running. And of course, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm in my 50s. I can't run very well. I'm just plodder at the back sort of thing. I can't join a running club. But no, she persuaded me to join a local club. So I'm in the Carnegie Harriers in Dunfermline. And they're actually a mixed club. You know, some do speed, some do trail, some do whatever. Our club do everything. Cross country, trail, speed, plodders, ultras, they do everything. Mountains, you know, everything. I keep telling them I'm going to get the sweeper on the back of my vest. I'm their sweeper, and I'm proud of it. You know, I think I'm probably the slowest in the club, but it's brilliant. And when I joined that, I actually got quite good at running. You know, my speed was actually getting up, and I was getting quite good at running. And I had an accident at work, which injured my knee, so I was out for about 6 months. And another, obviously, thing that probably a lot of women runners will go through was I hit the menopause, and that caused me a lot of problems as well with tiredness and drained. So my running took a toll there as well. I couldn't do what I wanted to do. So I've actually slipped quite far back. But I still like the running, but I do short distances. You know, I'll do 5, possibly 10K runs. One of the things that my running club taught me was that you don't have to put yourself through all that. You know, they're in awe. They would never go out and walk 26 miles. You know, they're 3 hours and home. You know, so for them to go out and walk 6 hours, it's just like, oh, you're crazy. Why do you do that? You know, but they're really supportive. So yeah, so I run short distances and I walk long distances. I don't know if I have a preference. I like doing both. It depends on my mood,
And
I
you've got a
suppose.
different
Yeah, I
style.
like doing
One's
both.
running,
Yeah,
one's walking. But
yeah.
if I remember last year with the moonwalk, you're quite a big part of it in Scotland, because didn't you get
Mm-hmm.
asked to go to Berlin and do the
Yes, I
moonwalk
went to
over there?
Berlin to do the
So what
moonwalk
was the
with them.
story around
Yeah.
that?
Um, well, I know them quite well because it's a small charity. Then you actually get to know them. And Sally, the event organizer up here, she's called on me a few times to actually help her with promotions and things up here for it. So I do know them quite well. And I'd shown interest in Berlin about going, but never really thought much about it. I thought, "Oh, I'm not going to go, whatever." But they had places, and they phoned me up one day and said, "You were quite interested in going to Berlin. How do you fancy going?" And this was something like March, and it's on in September. I thought, right, okay. So I messaged my husband and said, "We need a little chat when I come home."
I know
I've been
that.
offered
I've had
to
that
take
many a
Berlin.
times.
So he knows me. So I basically walked through the door and he said, "Well, I take it you're going then." so, so I went to Berlin. I, I've actually done, I don't know how many. I've done about, I think, 80 or 90 events probably since I started. I say the short ones, 5, 10Ks, they've been running. Dublin, we did the rock and roll in Dublin. That was a mixture of running and walking. I did intend to go and walk that until I spoke to an American guy from Texas, I think it was, in the start line. Because like you, I talk, and he
It's good to
convinced me
talk. It's good to
that
talk.
he convinced me I should Jeff it. So walk, run, walk, run. So I decided, oh yeah, just go for it. So I did that, which I enjoyed. So yeah, I tend to do a bit of walk, run and a half. I don't tend to just walk a half. And then I say the fulls, I've never ran a full at all. Although I've done 22 marathons, but I've never ran one yet. And we even went to New York. We went to New York for MS Society. We did that as well. So yeah, it's a mixture. It's a mixture, and I enjoy both. They're both so different. You just, because you run doesn't mean to say you can walk, and because you walk doesn't mean to say you can run.
Correct.
They're quite different ways of using your legs. So, but
So
yeah,
just
I've
to give
been all
people an
over.
idea as well, because you have got a very carefree attitude, it's great.
Yeah,
Your times of a marathon and a half marathon, what you do when you're running,
yeah.
walking, what sort of
Mm-hmm.
times are they?
Um,
Average.
the, yeah. Well, I've ran, walked, if you like, because I didn't fully run a half. But um, okay, start from a 5K. The quickest 5K I've done at parkrun, which is hilly, was 31 minutes.
Wow.
Which I thought, oh, that was quite good for me. I need to get back there, but that was that. 10K I've done in an hour. So again, walk,
Wow.
run.
Yes.
Um, the half marathon, again, walk, run, but half marathon, I think was 2:20, I think was about 2:20, although I have walked one in 2:50.
Perfect,
So
but you still
yeah,
did it, still same distance.
yeah, and that was why, I think that was why when it came to the marathons and I was desperate to run a marathon, and that was why the club was saying to me, look, you're getting injured all the time when you're trying to do distance. There's like half an hour between what you can run one and what you can walk one. Why are you trying to run one? And that was
True.
their attitude. And then that was from a running group, and that was what they were saying. Look, forget it. It's some, you don't need to go for that goal, because that was me trying to push for a goal. And they say, look, just forget it. Forget about running it. You're happy, aim for a time at walking. But to be honest, I don't really care about times.
No, that's good. It's
I
just
did.
nice that you still get out there.
Yeah, I did care when I first started. Everybody's on about times and whatever. And yeah, and my goal is still to walk a sub 6. That is still a goal. I mean, I'm sitting at 6:19 for walking one, and I would love to get under 6, but I don't really care. I just go out and I just enjoy it.
And I bet New
Um,
York was amazing, the atmosphere, one of the biggest marathons in the world.
It was. It's been passed. It was the biggest in the world when we did it, and it was for a couple of years after that. The number that was at ours, but I think it was passed a couple of years ago. The actual people that finished it. It's not the people that start; it's the kind of people that finished. But yeah, that's 52,000 people. I think there's over 1 million on the streets. Yeah, that's just an experience. You have to do it. Everybody
And
has to do New York.
and let's get on to one of my favourite subjects, park run. So what's your local park run?
The local park run, Dunfermline. So we've been going for 5 years. We
And
just had to
what's
have
the course like? Is it a loop? Is it just one loop? Is it?
it's 3 loops. It's 3 loops. Once, twice, 3 times a hill is one of the actual slogans we have there.
You're selling it.
It's it's
Don't
brilliant.
mention hills.
It's the fourth hardest in Scotland. There is a sort of a lead into it, and then you do 3 loops, and then there's a long straight to finish it, which always gets a good sprint. Trying to beat the person in front of you. Although it's not a race, it's a run. But yeah, that was 5 years ago, and we had to have a non-park run where everybody kind of went staggered throughout the day to have our birthday party this year. Keep our social distance. But that was 5 years ago. The first race, the first day that we had park on the first run, it was pouring with rain, soaking wet. But no, it's good. I'm actually on the core committee. I'm a run director now, so that was quite a challenge to get that when you first stand up with the microphone.
I don't know. I love it.
Oh no, I could get. So yeah, we have about on average about 220, 230 at the park run, which is fine because it's the Glen in Dunfermline, so it's a park and Glen and things, and it's lovely. They have a cafe there as well, so it's good for social afterwards. I was even up this morning doing a non-park run, and there was, I think, about 9 of us. We all did our own thing and then just sat on benches outside, keeping our distance, and had a coffee. So we can still do it, we can still get together and do the runs, although it's not officially a park run.
No. So do you
But
get
no,
many
it's good.
tourists when you was busy? Did
Yeah.
you get many tourists?
Yes, we've had people from New Zealand, we've had people from America, Germany. Obviously, we get some from down south coming up. We become tourists ourselves because where our park run is, that sometimes there's events on in Pittencrieff Park or the Glen. So some days we have to cancel. The days we cancel, then we tend to be tourists ourselves and go somewhere else, which is quite good. Yeah. I haven't been to yours yet. I've been to a couple down south, but I haven't been to yours.
Yes, you're more than welcome to Northampton anytime. We're one big loop and then one medium loop, and it's all tarmac. So we're very diverse, for we can have wheelchairs, visual guides. It's very easy course to get round.
To go round.
So,
Yeah, ours is all tarmacked. Yeah.
yeah,
So
and it's very flat, so you might, find it difficult. We've only got one little
right.
speed bump.
I
It's not.
actually went to Warrington once, so we're down at a cousin's, and I thought we'll go down Friday night so I can do Warrington Park Run. And I went with a friend there, and we did, I think it was a loop, and you had to come back round. And there was this little incline, and somebody says, "Come on, get up that hill." And my pal just turned and she went, "She's from Scotland, that's not a hill."
Oh, so what advice, Mags, would you give anyone who is thinking about running, especially as you was in your 50s when you decided to walk run? What
Yeah,
advice? You often hear, "Oh, it's my knees, I'm too old." What do you say to those people?
no, go for it. I mean, especially parkrun. I mean, I've got 70-year-olds that beat me in parkrun. So you just go for it. You go out and you enjoy yourself. Basically, you can run, you can walk, you can run, walk, you can just do whatever you want as long as you're moving. That's me. I'm just happy to be out there and exercising. It's my space. It's my time. It helps me clear my head some days. Yeah, just go and do it. All you need is a pair of trainers. We all have the gear and the watches and whatever, but really all you need is a pair of trainers and just go. And yes, I would say Jog Scotland, Park Run, definitely. That something like that, definitely, because that encourages you. If you're out with other people in a group, I'll run with Lewis.
Yes, step forward with Lewis.
Step
Down
forward, yeah.
south.
I mean, anything like that is better because you're out with somebody, and the minute you want to stop, if somebody's with you, you'll keep going. Next lamppost, come on, let's go.
And final question, what is your favourite treat after a park run? What must you have? You go to the same cafe, your home run, what's your treat?
Yeah, well, park runs just always a latte. That's me. Just have a latte, not a problem. But if I could say my favourite treat after a half or a marathon has to be a bottle of full-fat Coke and a Mars bar. They
Good
are
girl.
they are the best things ever for reviving you.
I love it. Right. Well, thanks for that, Max, and we'll end it there. I'll end
Thank
that
you.
there.